This Sunday, October 1st, Jazz Winnipeg, in collaboration with the Fort Garry Hotel, will be presenting Winnipeg-based trumpet player, arranger, and composer Chuck Copenace. Fusing jazz with contemporary interpretations of sweat lodge melodies with some dance and electronica thrown in for good measure. The concerts at 6:30 and 8:30 at the Fort Garry Hotel are sure to be something really, really special, unique, and memorable. What makes these performances on Sunday extra special is that Copenace will be releasing his album Oshki Manitou. Described as a decidedly personal musical expression and a gift to his family and community, the album explores the importance of how ceremonial melodies have changed his musical outlook and united his creativity and spirituality. And joining me here in the Classic 107 studio to talk about his performances on Sunday night and his album, Oshki Manitou, I am joined by Chuck Copenace. Hey, Chuck, it's great to see you.
Hello, good to see you too as well, Chris.
Mm-hmm. I want to start out by first saying you and I have known each other for a little more than 20 years. We first met at Brandon University.
96.
A lifetime ago. I know you're originally from Kenora and have been making music here in Winnipeg for quite a while and gigging around town. I was on your website checking out some of the videos that you've made, and one of the things that struck me, and it struck me when I knew you at Brandon, was how important trumpet playing is, and in particular music is to you. It's sort of been your guiding light. Can you talk about that relationship a bit, and how did that start?
Well, I started playing in grade 7 and through high school, kind of a normal kind of musical upbringing. But I wasn't really musical. Like, I didn't really grow up kind of in a musical family or anything like that. And so kind of being good at the trumpet caught me by surprise, and I think caught a lot of people by surprise, that I just seemed to have an affinity, and I was able to get, I guess, kind of an affinity for music and playing music. Mm-hmm. And that right away, my family started, I think a lot of people were just like, holy, like, we just got to like develop whatever is happening here has to develop. And I was like enjoying that, I was like, oh, wow, I actually really enjoy it. I remember I practice a lot when I'm in those first few years. I'd just be sitting there and just, I had records and stuff that I was playing with. Like, I really enjoyed it. Mm-hmm. And I remember knowing, like, from grade 8 or grade 9, like, that this is what I want to do. Like, I was like, I want to be playing my trumpet in some way. My music teacher at the time was like, started preparing me for a performance kind of career. Mm-hmm. And so then I just kind of went through high school like that and ended up in university. That's where we met. And, but the whole time has just been music is my thing. Mm-hmm. Playing trumpet is my thing. How I'm going to do that, it's just not if I'm going to do it, it's how am I going to do it. Mm-hmm. And I'd like to say that it was just like a straight shot to a musical career, but it hasn't been, because I had a whole bunch of other stuff in my life that I had to take care of that I didn't really I started realizing over time through circumstance as well as through self, just kind of trying to get through, that I had a lot of barriers that I had to take care of. So yeah, but just kind of fast forward and I get to Winnipeg, and what actually brought me to Winnipeg was needing to get sober and needing to kind of deal with these issues that I was having with addiction. And, but all that time while that was going on, playing music with my friends, and when I was having these difficulties that were often pretty dark, mm-hmm. playing music with my friends was always the bright point of my life. And it was jamming, creating music in Vancouver and places where I ended up. That was my main priority, and that I felt a freedom from everything else that I was worried about in life. Mm-hmm. when I was just creating music with people. And that, that's, when I look back, that's what kind of brought me through. And I was like super dependent on music, which I didn't know at the time.
Yeah.
I was like, well, these guys are dependent on a cool trumpet player, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I actually, when I really look at it, I was the one who needed my friends to help me just get through.
Yeah, and music totally keeps you grounded.
Yeah, and it's expression. I think if I had feelings, if I had things that needed to be expressed, I was finding a way to express that through music and get that, get stuff out enough that I could just continue, which is good.
And one of the ways you've really done it is with this album, Oshki Manitou. Am I saying that right?
Oshki Manitou, yeah.
It's based on ceremonial melodies. Am I right about that?
Well, two compositions from the album are based from ceremonial melodies that I heard. One was definitely the first lodge that I'd ever attended, and this was in 2014. Was definitely sung at every one of those lodges. That song is called The Opening off the album. The single that's out right now is called Creator.
That's the one I've heard, yeah.
Yeah. And that melody, I would have heard a few sweats in, within those first few months that I started going to lodges. And what started happening, which I wasn't really intending on, is that when I started writing music, which I was also just kind of getting back into at the time, around 2014, because I'd taken quite a break. I found that those melodies were kind of in my consciousness, and I started understanding the form and the structure, and the being in the sweat lodge opened me up to that, to the purpose of those songs as well, like learning about that and learning about the power of songs within ceremony. And they're like integral, like they go hand in hand. And the intention of these songs, like once that song is completed, then it's that's what's passed on orally for whoever knows. There's songs that are very, very, very old. There's some that are new. And Creator is one that I think is within, the last 10 or 20 years. An elder from Seguin named Neil Hall gave that song to people and started sharing that. And so it comes from him, and then it's spread out into different ceremonies. Yeah. And I've even heard from another elder that they went to Germany and saw a mock powwow, and they were singing this song, this melody in Germany. And it's I shouldn't say mock powwow. Like it's what it is, but it's not about mocking. It's about the culture. They're really, they really kind of, I don't know if idolize is the term, but they're kind of like, they really like the indigenous cultures of North America. So this song is one of those ones, and I was able to just kind of make a composition that my aim was to just kind of bring my musical background, combine those things together. So there's like I guess it's kind of like a jazz funk version of the song.
Yeah, and so it sort of leads to my next question. How did the arrangements come about for the CD?
Well, this song is kind of unique on the album because I wanted to do a song without drum kit. So most of my songs all have drum kit or sequenced drums. But this one I wanted to not have drum kit and feature my friend Scott Sr. on percussion. And I wanted to do more of an acoustic song in the studio. So so I arranged for the musicians to come. My friend Victor Lopez on guitar, who's been with me the whole time, and then Scott came in, set up, and Paul Gee, who owns the studio Stereo Bus where I recorded. I asked him if he would play bass on some of the songs, and this one he plays bass as well as engineering. Yeah, And so we just kind of like took the version that we've been playing live for a while, which is pretty long and do. And I don't know, we came up with the arrangement for it in the studio, something that would feature Scott on percussion, and then we recorded that afternoon, and then I overdubbed the trumpet later on.
Nice.
So it was I think that recording, that aspect comes out through it. Like Paul, there's pictures on my website of Paul, twiddling knobs while he's playing, and but he's such a great musician that, the bass, I think the bass playing for him is kind of second nature, and so is the engineering and everything. So to him, it wasn't a big deal, but I was pretty impressed. I was like, he's like doing stuff back there as well as playing really good. I was like, I can only do trumpet, like.
So if you could just, you're going to be playing tracks from the CD Oshki Manitou on Sunday. If you could use a few words to describe the entire CD, what would it be? Because Creator has a sort of smooth jazz feel to it. What is the rest of the album like?
Yeah, well, I definitely enjoy the sound that Paul Yee was able to get for the trumpet. If I were to use, it's not all smooth, so I wouldn't use smooth to describe it all. I think ethereal might be a good word. There's definitely an overall kind of warmth to all the songs. And that's through the trumpet, that's through all the sounds. I really like atmospheric might be another word.
Yeah.
And then definitely every song has a different like a pulse or a groove. So like,
and some of the pulses created with drum kit or drum synth, or
there's a mixture. There's the way that I arranged the album is I tried to go from live. It starts with Creator, which is mostly live, and then it ends with a straight, electronic house song. So if you go from beginning to end, I try to and then some of the songs have sequenced drums, like Oshki Manitou has sequenced drums. And then DJ Boogie the Beat, his name is Leslie Boulanger, added more drum sounds to that song and did some production on that one. And so there's trumpet and guitar and saxophone over the sequenced drum beats. So there's a fusion going on that I think kind of slowly grows over the period of the album.
Yeah, which you're going to be playing on Sunday night at the CD release party.
Yeah, I'll be playing, for sure I'll be playing 3 or 4 songs from the album. Some from the recording to now, the sequence drum songs, I still haven't, I haven't kind of figured out a way to present them live.
Yeah.
So the ones that are, I do a Freddie Hubbard song called Little Sunflower, and we do a version of that one, which is really upbeat, really driving. So
the show's on Sunday night. It's not going to be just your compositions. You're going to be doing some covers as well, right?
Just that one.
Okay.
I think. Oh no, and then I do a Wayne Shorter Footprints version.
Nice.
And they're both really. I think one thing that I can say about my music is that. It's definitely a groove-based sound that I have.
Yeah.
And so the version of Footprints that I'm doing it has a really Latin feel to it.
Yeah.
But really, it's like super groovy and it's super fun. And that's was one of my main focuses with my band is I want the people that I play with to have fun.
Yeah, right.
So I want them to not be so much thinking about chords and stuff like that. I want guys to just be able to just, really fly, with their solos, with improvisation, and just kind of have a vehicle of improvisation for people that are great improvisers.
Yeah.
That's always been my main thing. I just love playing with people. And I love playing off of people and just like sharing ideas on the fly.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where the fun has always been for me. So that I was like, you know what, in my band, it's going to be as much fun for the musicians as possible, as much fun for the listener as possible.
So who is it? Who's on the band? Who's in the band on Sunday night?
On Sunday night, it'll be Victor Lopez
Mm-hmm.
on guitar.
Yep.
And
Plays with Papa Mambo too.
Yep. And he's going to have his own core project coming out soon as well, which I've been really waiting for him to just kind of go forward with. But anyways, Victor Lopez, and this weekend it'll be Justin Alcock on drums,
Mm-hmm.
and then Henry Onwuchekwa or Henry O on bass.
Nice.
And he has his own group as well,
Mm-hmm.
Dr. Henry, and then Kyle Wedlake on saxophone.
Nice.
He's from Dirty Catfish.
Dirty Catfish brass band.
Yeah. So I think that's everyone, and then myself. Yeah. So it's gonna be fun. We're gonna be playing at 6:30. You know, an early set.
Yep.
We'll be doing an 8:30 set, and I'm hoping lots of people can come out and just check me out. You know, and support the music. I think I might be doing a little bit of singing a little bit earlier. I'm for one of the songs, we did another little arrangement of Creator where I could sing with the live band and just kind of present that music so that everybody can kind of connect and see what the idea is.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, the whole thing.
I think I've seen the video for that you're talking about for Creator. It's a live performance. Sean Irvin's on saxophone. It's like, but for our listeners, it's really, really interesting. He sings the song, the ceremonial chant, and then uses it as the head for the entire tune. He plays the tune on his trumpet. It's really, really, really great. Mm-hmm. I know that one of your goals as a musician is to introduce young people to jazz and bring Indigenous musicians together. For somebody who's listening to the album, what do you hope they'll take away from it?
Well, I think it's as far as connecting. Yeah, like the songs with the ceremonial melodies. I definitely hope that young people can hear that and kind of hear those melodies and hear what I'm doing there, and I'm just hoping it can kind of open people up to the idea that music is open to anybody. You know what I mean? And in some areas of Canada, in some places, music isn't really accessible, to people, or playing the trumpet, like for me was kind of like an unexpected thing. Like it's and I think sometimes, young people might only want to listen to certain types of music, or they don't think that there's a separation between ceremonial music or drum music, traditional music, and other forms of music.
Right.
And I want to just kind of like show that there is no separation. You know what I mean? All types of music have a purpose. They all have a what people get from the music is what is different for everybody. But there really isn't any. There's definitely different genres. All that kind of stuff is separate. But all forms of music, I think, are in a way are enjoyable.
Yeah.
And definitely useful. All that kind of stuff. So,
Totally. Yeah, it's going to be, the shows on Sunday at 6:30 and 8:30 at the Fort Garry are going to be just fantastic. Chuck, this has been great. It's been great catching up and hearing about the album and the shows on Sunday. I'm going to wrap up the conversation by asking any plans for National Day of Truth and Reconciliation on Saturday. Any plans for you? What do you got lined up?
Oh, Saturday? I thought it was on Friday.
No, well, yeah, it's Friday and Saturday. Yeah.
Oh, Saturday, yeah. You know what? I don't have any plans right now. I definitely use this time to think about my family and thinking about my relatives who have passed on that went to residential schools. I think, I'll have my kids with me on Saturday, and if I can find somewhere, where we can, that's going to have an event that'll kind of honor the memory of those that have gone through residential school and that are survivors, everyone that's affected.
Yeah.
Someone that I would include myself in that. Then I would definitely be interested in attending something like that, with my kids. But I think, for myself, I'd rather just be with them and just have those, just kind of think of all the stories of my relatives that have been through that time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Chuck, again, it's been so great to have you here. For our Classic 107 listeners, if you go to classic107.com, I've embedded a direct link to the Jazz Winnipeg site where you can purchase tickets for this Sunday night's performances in the article that is now up at Classic 107 about Chuck Copenace and his CD, Oshki Manitou. Chuck, thanks again.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much.